Hello, my name is Beatriz Cutillas-Moreno, but you can call me BCM. BCM, you Spanish, and I say you Spanish because you make it happen. So today, in this session, we're gonna learn about how to say in Spanish, this thing here, that thing there, and that thing over there. But first, for those of you that don't know me, many years ago, I was in a real predicament because I really needed to learn English as an adult. I had studied French when I was in school, but I was following my career as a scientist, and in science you need English all of the time. So it was very complicated. I tried like day classes, but I found that their timetables were so restricted, like 10 to 11 Monday to Friday, and I couldn't attend that. I considered also like personal tutoring, but I realized that it was really expensive, and also the pace of learning was not, I want to say fast, but it wasn't really that it wasn't fast enough. It's that sometimes it was like I found it really boring. It was like I do, I don't, like for ages, and I was like, oh my god, this is desesperating. Like I need to learn differently, really. So it was very tricky, and I used to maybe try to listen to the radio in English, but I was like, well, I don't understand a thing. So I was like, how is this gonna work? I couldn't see that. But everything changed because I went to Ireland for 3 months with 3 colleagues, and I realized that there was a much easier way to learn English language. And I was progressing very fast, and I was like, wow, but there is a different way, and I'm learning a lot. And so I have created a method by which you can learn as an adult a different language, in this case, Spanish language. So you may be, you may need to learn a Spanish language at this moment in time because you may want to open a business in Spain, or you may be considering to retire in Spain and become a resident in Spain, and you want to be independent from translators, although you may start having some translation work, but you may want to be fully independent and fluent in Spanish. Or you may be married to a wonderful like Spanish lady or gentleman, and even your children may be fluent at Spanish and English. I know loads of cases like that, and you may want to be able to communicate at a different level with your wife or husband and children and extended family, especially when you go and spend time in Spain with the family and kids. So with this methodology that I have created, I have taken out everything that we don't need, all of the complication of learning a language from a very grammatical point of view, and I have left what is required to be able to communicate. Okay, so the nitty-gritty, I'm concentrating on that, so you can become as fluent as I am in English in Spanish. And so, but anyway, if you like what you are hearing, please subscribe to my channel so you can be alerted of all the videos that I am uploading. But without further ado, let's start with the session of today, okay? So today we're gonna learn the following words. Este, ese, aquel. Esta, esa, aquella. Estos... Mamma mia, even I find that. Estos, esos, aquellos. Estas, esas, aquellas. Okay, because I had a little bit of a moment. Let's start again, ¿vale? Vale means okay, by the way. I say this a lot. So, let's start again. Este, ese, aquel. Esta, esa, aquella. Estos, esos, aquellos. Estas, esas, aquellas. Okay? It's like a little sing-song. It's much easier than what it seems, okay? It just takes some practice. And the words that we are going to use to apply this concept are 3 words. We're going to use umbrella, we're going to use table, we're going to use car, okay? So let's start with umbrella. So umbrella is a very quirky word, and I really love this word. And basically, umbrella in Spanish is paraguas, okay? You got it written down here, paraguas. And basically, it's nearly like the composition of two independent words. Para, stop, aguas, which is waters, okay? So like, it's like water in plural, like loads of waters, okay? So these two words become one, paraguas. And also it's very quirky because it finishes in A or AS, but it doesn't follow the rule of the alpha, if that makes sense. By the way, this rule I have made, so you won't find this in any book, but I'll explain you in a second. So basically, if you want to say the umbrella, you won't say la paraguas, you will say el paraguas, okay? So it's very quirky because it's compounded by two words in one, paraguas, but all together, as you can see written down. And instead of la, you use el. And also, it doesn't matter if you have 1 or 3 or 5, you always say paraguas. Because you're not talking about how many paraguas you go, you're talking that it stops a lot of waters, yes? Okay, I hope that all of this makes sense, but if you have any questions, write it down in the comments and I'll get back to you. So, imagine now that we have one paraguas right here. So in that case, I will say este paraguas, este paraguas. Imagine that I have one paraguas out there, maybe 1 meter away. I will say ese paraguas, ese paraguas. Now imagine that we have a paraguas really far at the very end of the room. Then I will say aquel paraguas, okay? So let's repeat that. So it will be for one paraguas and it'll be este paraguas here, right here next to me. Ese paraguas, right there. Aquel paraguas at the very end of the room, okay? Now, the second word we're gonna use is mesa. Mesa for table. And mesa follows the rule. So mesa is, if you want to say the table, you'll say la mesa. So both finish in a for alpha. A. La mesa. A. See what I mean? So this word is a standard word. It follows the rule. It finishes in a and it has the article finishing in a, okay? So la mesa, the table. Now imagine we are talking about one table here. We'll say esta mesa, esta de aquí, esta mesa here. Imagine we say a table there that is maybe a meter away. We say esa mesa there, okay? Now imagine we say a table that is at the very end of the room, like far away. We'll say aquella mesa, okay? Let's repeat this. So, este paraguas, one, este paraguas, ese paraguas, aquel paraguas, okay? Now, esta mesa here, esa mesa there, aquella mesa there. If you realize with mesa is esa mesa, so alpha. Esta mesa, alpha. Aquella mesa, alpha, okay? So it's much simpler than you think. It's just a matter of, practicing and getting used to, and a different way to say things. Now let's imagine we go tres paraguas. Tres paraguas here. Estos paraguas here. We can say estos tres paraguas here. If they are maybe a meter away, esos tres paraguas there. If they're really far in the room, aquellos tres paraguas over there, okay? So, estos tres paraguas, esos tres paraguas, aquellos tres paraguas. Now, let's do the same for mesa. Estas tres mesas. Here. Estas 3 mesas here. Esas 3 mesas there. Aquellas 3 mesas over there at the very end of the room. Okay? Wonderful, we're learning so much. Now, let's take the example of car, coche, okay? So, coche finishes in E for echo, and therefore is again a very standard word. And if you want to say the car, you will say el coche, echo, echo. So, see, with mesa, we had the rule of alfa, alfa, la mesa. With car, we have echo, echo, el coche, okay? And the wording that we use for el coche is the same, exactly the same, as for el paraguas. Although el paraguas was a very complex, quirky word, we use the exact same words to indicate if they're very nearby, if they're slightly far, or if they are really far at the end of the room, okay? So let's try this. For el coche, one car, un coche, diríamos este coche, here, yeah? Este coche here next to me. Now, if the car was over there, maybe 1 meter away, we'll say ese coche there, ese coche there. Now, if the car was very far away at the very end of the street, we'll say aquel coche there, over there, at the very end of the street, okay? Now imagine we have 3 coches, 3 coches, yes? So we will use the same as for paraguas, yes? So it will be estos 3 coches here, okay? Or esos 3 coches there, if there was like a meter or 2 meters, yes? It's far, but not too far. And then if we were talking about those cars at the very end, those 3 cars, we will say aquellos coches over there. Okay, so let's repeat this. It's much simpler than what it seems. All you have to do is practice, 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 okay? I used to practice all the time. I used to think of little words all the time when I was in the shower, when I was walking about. So do that. It really does work and you will be fluent in no time. So let's say these words very fast together, out loud, so we get used to pronouncing this without anyone hearing us. Okay? It's our secret. Okay, so let's start. So, este, ese, aquel, estos, esos, aquellos. Esta, esa, aquella, estas, esas, aquellas. Let's repeat. Este, ese, aquel, estos, esos, aquellos. Esta, esa, aquella, estas, esas, aquellas. Well done, very well. I'm so happy you are learning so much. So, as I said, if you like my teachings and what you see here, please subscribe so you don't miss any of the videos that I will be uploading. If you have any questions, write in comments. Please in comments write if there was anything particularly that you learned today that was new to you, or if there is anything that you would like me to cover in any of the videos. If you write it in comments, I'll have a look and upload videos on that, okay? So thank you so much. Don't forget that you are important, you are significant, you matter, and improve your communication in Spanish and break free, become independent from any translators, mejora tu comunicación en español y libérate. Muchísimas gracias.